Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? You are getting this as fresh as it gets. Drop that beat.
Drop that beat, fresh out the gate. Same day drop, yeah, we don't wait. Berlin buzz, but we back on track. March reset, let's tighten that stack. Clean the bins, no spend, glow. Level up without buying more. Sell a club groove, Q2 locked in. Let the spring clean season begin.
What would you say? Fresher than a Krispy Kreme donut?
Fresher than a German Dunkin' Donut.
It's still donuts.
Yeah.
I mean, what's better than a fresh donut? Let's be honest.
Yep. So
That's great.
Yeah.
This is super fresh. You're right.
Super fresh. Recording it and making it go live same day.
Yeah, we don't normally do that. To everyone's shock.
But we got this.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a whole new month. We are back from our surprise trip to Germany, and we're like back to business, right?
Yep, that's the goal. Everybody that follows us on our social media definitely have seen all the posts from Germany and all the fun things that we got to do with eBay. But there's gonna be more of that. I think next week you and I and the group are getting together and going live at Katie and Vicky's YouTube channel. So
Yes, we are.
if you guys wanna what do you call that? Interact with us live, which we probably haven't done in a long time. So,
Right. It's going to be really fun because the chat will be right there with us and we can answer questions, and I'm sure we'll tell a lot of stories. But, our podcast is generally not a live type of setting, so it'll be really fun to have some of that interaction from everybody.
Yep. So that's all done. Like you said, back to business. And, I was just talking with my assistant, aka ChatGPT, and I think this stemmed out of a conversation that I've had with Anna and Yinka while we were waiting for our room at the lobby in Berlin. Just trying to see, like, what are other activities that I can do to be able to, boost my store without having to spend more money. As you guys have, probably learned if you follow me, I'm all about growing your store, more inventory, growing your store, more inventory. And along the way, two-person business, there's definitely going to be lapses.
Oh, yeah.
We don't run a perfect, ship, but there are, things that I wish we could do, but at the moment you cannot. So that's kind of like what I was thinking for March. Is like, can we make March that moment, and intentionally set it aside and say, like, look, we're gonna, pick up the pieces, try to scour every corner, nooks and crannies. As you guys know, we don't like death piles. We want them all listed. So that was kind of like my idea.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, I don't know that this would be always repeatable every single quarter, but I do like the idea of, like, you're pushing really hard. Also, like, according to when the opportunities are, right?
Right.
Like, you're sourcing a whole bunch in the beginning of Q1, and now it's getting to the end of Q1, so you're cleaning up all the loose ends, you're resetting things to have a really good Q2, and also to kind of, like I said, like, close out some of the unfinished business from Q1. So I think it's a really good time to do that. Again, I don't know if, like, that 3-month cycle would make sense every single quarter, but I think for quarter one, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like we really didn't start the year at January. We're gonna start the year at March.
Yeah.
So that was the premise for it. But I think one of the things that I guess we'll just dive right into it, right? Like, we can talk about technical stuff that you guys can take away about just different process that we do to kind of like ensure that everything's listed. I think one of the things that go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it would be good to have, like, an order of operations by the end of the episode where it's like, wherever you are in this kind of flow of tasks, like jump in and finish it out in the end of March. Because like even you and I are going to be starting in kind of different spots. Like I do still have unlisted stuff. So that's like my number one thing, but we'll talk about that, like what the order of operations should be and why. Sure.
Yeah, I think everybody has unlisted stuff. I think that's one of the things. One of the things that I think everybody can jump right into is making sure their inventory is actually correct, right? I think that's one of the things that we have started. We can share what are the different things on how we do inventory checks,
right?
Especially with just the different inventory system that we are using. One of the things that JC has started is she is double checking everything by brand. So that's kind of like how we're doing it. And
like that's obviously the structure of the checking. Like we're gonna pull everything that's Nike, and then we're gonna pull everything that's
right. Because like I guess like the step by step way is you just go to your active listing and type the brand, and what we've done is we've always done the least amount of quantity first, because Nike is the most daunting brand because we have the most of them.
Because it's the most, yeah.
Yeah, so I would
pick all the low hanging fruit first.
Yes, because like for example, like Brooks, we sell Brooks running shoes, and she did it while we were in Germany, and she found like 4 pairs that was not listed. So like that's almost $400 of listed inventory value. So it's just felt like we were sourcing, right? And
this is the like going through all your coat pockets and finding the cash you forgot about.
Yes, yeah, 100%. And one of the things that we're doing now is, if you want physical things to do while you're doing it, not just doing it digitally, we ordered kind of like sticker dots. So we've used yellow before, we've used white, now we're using pink. So we bought some pink dots. So every time you make, because obviously you want to make sure that your eBay listing has a corresponding actual product.
Item. Right. Exactly.
Because but there are also, it could be vice versa, right? It could be like you have products that are not listed. So I think the first step is making sure that what's listed is actually present.
Yeah.
So that's when the dots kind of like come into play. So if you're going with brands, we're just talking about like, shoe boxes right now. So we put dots on all the Brooks that have been checked. And then at the end of the brand, run through, then you go back, like, what are the boxes that doesn't have a pink dot?
A dot.
That means those are the stuff that you have but are not listed.
But it's not listed, right?
Yeah, so those are kind of like the free inventory that you get.
That you already paid for.
Yeah, you already paid for, right? Right. So that's kind of like the process that we've gone through. There were times that JC has printed out it, manually too, but we are at an inventory level that it would take so much time just printing it out. So
I have a question. I have a question for you, because I know, at least in the past, you have a lot of multi-quantity listings, and especially when you have a lot, you don't always put the exact number in your listing.
That's
or
what
happened. Yeah. So are you like, are you trying to make all of that really exact now? Are your listings going to reflect it exactly, or how are you going to handle that?
So currently what we're doing is, one of the, like you said, if you're holding back inventory, your inventory count
is going to be wrong. And your store
wrong,
value
right?
is going to be,
your store value is not as accurate. What we've done now is we actually create a new listing. I think this is one I would say it's not data driven yet, but based on feel, I feel like this is working.
It's vibes driven.
Vibes driven, right? Vibe wise,
that's valid.
It's amazing, right? But also, like, there's sales to back it up too, so it's just not like
right. It's anecdotal at this point.
Yeah.
But seems to be working. Common
Right,
sense seems
because
to be working.
so
Yeah.
for example, I have six, pairs of the same shoe, all size 9. Historically, me and Glenn have talked about like we only list 3, and in the 3 we just hold back and we just keep replenishing it. Well, things happen, you forget to replenish it. Next thing you know, that listing sells out. Now you don't have any way of replenishing it, right? Because if it's not as active, you cannot really add it. You can't add a
Right.
quantity to it. Um, so what I'm doing now is I create 2 different pricing strategy instead. So I list 3 on my free shipping strategy. So let's say
Like
$60
quantity
shoe.
3.
Right, quantity 3, right, on a
One
$60
listing, quantity
free
3.
ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
One listing, 3 quantities, right. And then I create another one using a different pricing structure of basically the same amount or whatever I have left, right? Like we're talking 6. Like so one listing could have 4, the other listing could have 2 quantity.
Okay.
And then I change the pricing strategy there. I could be like, if I want $60 ship on this, I'm going to price it at $50 plus $10 shipping.
Right.
So now, vibes wise, I feel like I'm targeting both buyer. The buyer
Right.
that loves free shipping or the buyer
Yes.
that prefers like,
Yeah.
I
the
only
buyer
bought
that
this for
filters
50.
out search results by free shipping. Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Yes, right?
You're
So-
capturing that buyer, and you're still being honest about it because it's not like those 2 listings are speaking
it's not
for
double.
the same
Yeah, it's
physical
not a
item.
duplicate listing. It's not a
Right.
duplicate
and
listing.
that's really important. Like
right.
for people to understand that that's not what you're doing.
No, I'm
and that's
not
not what
creating
they should do
duplicate
because
listings.
that'll create
Yeah.
a huge mess.
Yes, because then you'd be in trouble as far as
Yeah. The duplicate
fulfilling
listing
orders.
policy, you can't do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what we've been doing, and I could tell this time around there's less kind of like lost inventory.
Oh,
Unlisted
compared to like
inventory.
last time you did a check.
Yes.
Which was
yeah.
when? How long has it been?
Before Q4, so like end of Q3. So that's kind of like historically what we do, like right before
Every 6
Q4
months.
we check, yeah. And obviously once you have your inventory, I mean, I would say the smaller your store, the more often you should, because you want it to be the most optimized.
Right.
Obviously, like it takes so much man hours to run inventory checks, but
Right.
also like it's painful because also if you sell on multiple platforms, then that comes into play.
Right.
If you guys know that I got suspended on Poshmark for 14 days because I ran out of inventory to sell there, right? And then I turned it back on, and I sold another thing that I didn't catch yet. So
Oh no.
I'm suspended again. So back to back.
Yeah.
So too bad, Poshmark, you're not getting my money.
No kidding. Doesn't seem like it works very well in their interest.
Yeah.
Well, that is interesting to me because I am finally doing my cross-listing experiment 2.0.
Okay.
And as of today, I have 516 items in my closet on Poshmark. And you guys have heard me whinge about Poshmark for years. So here's to hoping I actually sell some things this time around. I will say already I have more like people adding things to bundles and liking my items than I ever had before when I
Wow.
tried this the first time. So I'm heartened by that. And it's also like a specific subset of my inventory that I'm listing there. So I'm also going to do a totally different specific subset in
Right.
Etsy. So that's
Okay.
my next step, is to add some stuff to Etsy. But all that to say, having an inventory check and having the inventory unlock is extra important when I'm now branching
Right.
out to some other platforms to try it out. So this is timely for me too.
Yeah, that is something that we would like to do. We'd like to cross list back again, but
Yeah.
only after the inventory check.
Well, exactly. And I'm doing it
Yeah.
backwards as per usual, but that's okay.
No, you can do it both 2 ways.
I did not inventory checks, but when I was combing through my inventory and purging stuff, I did that a couple of times over the last 2 or 3 years in the process of moving and moving again. And that was like kind of a halfway inventory check. I didn't go through everything,
Right.
but there were there was a certain like section of bins that I did because I was going through every single item anyway to pull things out to purge.
Remove them, right? To remove
Right.
them.
So like when I was already in that bin, I checked all the stuff that was staying in the bin. So
okay.
I don't even know. There was only really one time in my whole history of my store that I did a full inventory check, and that was when I implemented my inventory system. And I touched every single item, and I assigned every single item a bin number in my spreadsheet. So it really is a good time for me to do this too. Like I haven't since I moved stuff to the shop, right? And now I've been there for almost 6 months. So that's going to be a big job. What's the best way? Okay, because like JC is like your like twin brain of your store, right? And so if I were to have someone help me do this for my store, because I don't have someone who's like John could run my store, but he doesn't have every single thing in his brain that I have, like JC does with you. So how would you recommend, and I'm asking on behalf of everyone listening too, like if this seems like a huge undertaking and it's something you might want to have some help with, how could you have someone help you with it? What would the helping tasks be?
I think one of the things is you have to establish a inventory system, right? I think it's so hard to do it without an inventory system or location, right? For you, example, like you have bin system, so your location is per bin, right?
Yes. Yeah. And so if you're going to do an inventory check and you don't have an inventory system, just implement a system while you're doing the check.
Right.
That's when I did it too.
That's the best time to do it, right?
It is. Yeah.
And then even if you have a bin system, you could go deeper to actually a SKU item system, which is what we have with the one-offs, right? The one-offs are the ones that usually get lost because it gets put in different places. So what I would recommend is, for example, if you don't have one, either you pick a bin system or you pick a individual SKU system, and you could just write A1 to, exponentially. I would start with, if somebody's helping you, I would start with something that's bigger, right? Like I wouldn't put them, for example, like you have pins, you have patches. Definitely don't put them in patches and pins. That's a headache, right? I would put them on like jackets, something like that. Something really like big and identifiable.
Easy to locate.
And especially that's why me and JC established the sticker rule, because even if we know each other a lot as far as how we run stores, there's still overlap of like, wait, do I have to ask her again? Did you run through this?
Yeah.
But a marker, right? Whether it's a blue tape, an eBay tape, just tape something on something that you've touched. That way you're not going back and forth. I think that's one good system. And then even your bins, right? Like, because you could start at the A bin, somebody could start at the Z bin. Just mark something there that it's been touched. Like put a sticky note or post-it notes or something like that. But really, it's just to a point, like if you have somebody helping you, it's really the manual painstaking. Pull up an iPad, pull up a laptop, and go.
So we're just both doing the same thing, but twice as fast.
Yep, twice as
like
fast.
Checking, typing into your store, searching.
But you have, since you have a bin system, right? You could sort it through SKUs, right? For example, bin 1.
Well, I don't have my bin numbers in my SKUs.
Oh, you don't? Oh, shoot. Yeah,
no,
so you have to.
But I have my whole own spreadsheet. But actually,
correct.
This is one reason that I haven't let go of my own spreadsheet and moved everything into my listings, because it's another place to double check, which is more cumbersome, but I catch a lot more stuff and know what happened when, like, for example, I have a physical item, it is in my spreadsheet, but there's no listing for it. Like, if that listing had disappeared off of eBay, then I wouldn't know.
That means you've,
and I would be, like, re-researching the pricing and whatever. I wouldn't know.
So on that system, for people that have a SKU, for people that have a separate spreadsheet, I would go in, I guess, merge or copy that bin location to your SKU level.
Yeah.
To your SKU field.
The reason I haven't done that yet is because whenever I consolidate bins, then I have to go in and change it both places. Right?
That's why you shouldn't consolidate. You just add to it.
Just add to it.
Yeah. Because
sometimes I do. Actually, sometimes I do it both ways, really.
We used to consolidate a lot, but again, it's the double work, and also too, it kind of like puts you on gear, saying like, okay, you look at this bin, it's half full. It's easier to fill up a bin that's half full than filling up a full bin. For us, it's like 40 listings to put in a full bin.
Right.
And then if you have to change the location, then all of a sudden you gotta move so many things, right?
Yeah.
So what we've done is, right now we literally pull that bin, and kind of like test fit how many can we stuff in here that's not listed.
Right.
And then if it's like, okay, this is the good right amount of items, we pull all those unlisted stuff and we put locations, and then it goes there.
Yeah.
That's one of the main reasons why. Yeah. But the people that have like the merge, what I've seen them do is they don't put bin location. They have individual single SKU. That is just kind of like,
my items do have that in my spreadsheet, but I don't have them like pre-bagged in any way, so the SKU is not on the item. But you it's connected to the title, like still, you know.
Oh, so
like,
so
I
what
can
you
still
could
find it.
What you could do is you could just print a on your Rolo, print numbers, numerical, and then just start tagging them. That could be something that somebody could do. Then all of a sudden you're all at the same time, because it
But then
it needs to merge. It needs to merge on your
item,
listing.
like
it needs to merge on your listing. That way it has a photo. You see what I'm saying? Because your spreadsheet doesn't have a photo.
No, it just has titles.
Yeah, it just has title. So that's the thing. But again, eventually a lot of this is like, for example, like for you, like if somebody's fulfilling for you, it would be easier, because right now, right, when we have stuff selling, we have when you print the label, it's usually the title that pops out on the side. We actually prefer the SKU that pops out on the side.
Yeah.
That way, for me or JC fulfilling, for an item that has an individual SKU, it don't matter what it is.
Right.
Because if it's F29, the person shipping for you could care less if it's a jacket or a shoe. There's no confusion there, because if you're using
it just doesn't match.
Yeah, it just match, right? Because if you have like black jacket size small, that's the main reason why we've had errors for different sizes, because all the black jackets are on one bin, small, medium, large. You accidentally pull a large, you ship it to somebody to order a medium. Game over.
See, I would never have considered adding individual SKUs to the physical items, like when I had 10,000 listings plus.
Right.
Now I have under 4,000 listings.
It's doable.
It is doable, but it also makes me want to sell down to like 2,000 listings before I do that.
Or what you could do is, moving forward, you just start numbering them.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we've done. That's kind of what we've done, really, when we went to like any unique single quantity listings has to have a single numerical number.
Yeah.
I mean, a tag. That way, moving forward, like that, we've noticed, since we've done that, we've fulfilled faster, right? So eventually, it's kind of like a resharpening or getting better. I get you. Like, I would never want to go through our old. We still have like that old inventory system. Like, I'm not touching that. Like, it will sell out. Like, that's how it's gonna sell out.
Eventually it will just sell off. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the system.
Okay, let's zoom back out a little bit to kind of look at, okay, wherever you are in the process of your inventory, like, let's just start at the very beginning. Let's say you're not ready to, like me right now, I'm not ready quite yet to go and start going a bin at a time and doing a check, because I still have stuff that's unlisted.
Right.
So would you agree, like, you'd rather complete the listings first and then do the inventory check?
100%. I think
so. Step one is get it all up,
or even at least, right? Like, because it's a two-edged sword, right? Like you don't want to sell something you don't have, at the same time you want
Right.
to sell something that you already have.
Right.
What we've done is we have sorted our inventory based on seasonality. So for example, like in February, when we had like a listing kind of frenzy,
Yeah.
we made
Because it was
sure
a snow day.
we made sure all the jackets, pants are listed. That was, if it was a short or a swimwear, it goes in a swimwear box. And that one's like, we'll work on that come spring.
Right.
So that's, and also like, we prioritize by value, right? Like, what if
Yeah,
it's like
right.
a really expensive shoe or a really expensive jacket? Those are the ones. I mean, I, I admit it. Like, we don't have enough time in the day to do it all.
Yeah.
So even like listing, we prioritize by value. Like, what's the most valuable items that we have? Make sure those are all listed.
Right.
And if it's a lower ASP item that, I'm not really too pressed to sell it during winter time when it's shorts or a swimwear, that could sit on the back end until I go around the next round.
Right. So maybe there's some kind of criteria to just
Yeah.
determine this is the stuff that must get listed before the inventory check. The other stuff can be in a batch that's post inventory check.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so then let's say all of that priority stuff is done. So is the next step just going bin by bin and like talk us through it? Like, what do you do when you find something?
Right.
Maybe you find a physical item that has no listing.
Yep. So
What do you do with it? Do you drop everything and list it, or do you put it in a pile to list later?
I like that question. So what we do is we batch list. So currently right now, if we find 10 pairs of shoes, we pause the count and we list those 10. And then for as far as clothing pieces, we have like a clear plastic bin that we try to fill up, because the clear plastic bin is going to be the location for that item.
Right.
So for example, like I start collecting all the unlisted item and I fill up a bin and be like, okay, the bin is filled. These items are not listed.
Bin.
Time to list that bin and put a locator on that bin.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, then all of a sudden, whether it's a newfound inventory or a new listed inventory, now it follows our inventory system.
Right. This is what I do. I have a bin. Currently I still have my inventory all stored at the shop, and then I have my eBay bin at home also, where I still ship everything. Normally I'm podcasting from there, but not today. Today I'm in Austin, Texas. But normally I have a bin that is just kind of sitting there, and it's anything that gets returned. It's anything that occasionally I'll like accidentally pull the wrong thing, and I'll just already have it in the basket with me. So instead of trying to go back and figure out where I pulled it from, then it just goes basically in the returns bin, and eventually that bin number gets reassigned, and I double check all those items and make sure they actually got relisted. But I kind of wait for it to fill up. So again, like you said, if it happened recently, or if it sells and it was a thing that recently got returned or that I recently pulled, I'll know that it's in there because it just happened. But every so often I go back and like do a mini inventory check of those items, and then it is back into the normal inventory storage after that. So it sounds like that's kind of what you do. You're just pulling out all those items and then processing that bin.
Right. And also too, like, like there's, multiple ways of doing it. You could do batch inventory check, right? Like, like for example, like somebody that has bins, right? Like what if, you add it to your daily task. If you have 100 bins, divide it by 30 days, you check 3 to 4 bins a day, and all of a sudden for a full month, then, March, you're all inventoried up, right? I think that's one of the things where, you could just play to your advantage, right? Like for us, like we like to take breaks in the middle, so that's kind of like why we batch list after a certain, if it's a certain brand, like, okay, let me just go through the Brooks, the Adidas. After that, we just go batch list, because all of a sudden we know where to put those back, right? Because again, it's one thing to just locate them, to list it. It needs to be put back to location. It needs to have a location, Because again, the last thing you want to do is start inventorying, listing it, and then you just put it on the side, and all of a sudden you're trying to happen to fulfill from that pile.
Right.
Like, that's definitely not what
That's
you
a
don't
mess.
want to do. Yeah.
Okay, and so then what happens if, say, you're going through a bin and maybe according to your SKUs and your listing, something that should be in there is not in there? Do you immediately delist that item until you find it, or are you like adding something to the SKU to make sure that you look elsewhere for it, or what do you do?
We don't look for them. We
Okay.
literally just take down that
Just take
listing.
them down. And
Take
if you
them
find
down,
them,
right?
they go
Like,
in the bin and they get
right.
back
If you
listed.
do, if you do in listing, right? If you find it later down the road, you could always go back to your ended listing,
Right.
and
Put it back up.
reactivate or sell similar off of that. That is one of the things, because that's the most frustrating thing. After how many thousands of listings, you'll find it. It's just that
Yeah.
if that item don't want to be found,
yeah.
they just keep hiding it. It's like hide
Well,
and seek kind of game.
I definitely had that happen recently where there was a time, I think it was around when I moved everything to the shop. So almost 6 months ago, I got rid of every single item of baby clothes that I had left. Because at one time I had a lot and I sold a lot of it, but these were like the stragglers that hadn't sold in forever. And like, that's not a thing that I normally sell anyway.
Right.
They were not selling for very much. So they fit my criteria of what I was purging.
Right.
And there were only like 1 or 2 bins in my whole inventory that had any baby clothes in them at all. So I
Right.
knew, and again, I went through every item in the bin at that point and I pulled all of them out and delisted all of them, deleted them from my spreadsheet, like fully purged them from everything. Somehow, like a couple weeks ago, this little baby shirt sold. And I'm like, literally, how was this listing live? I delisted this 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I know for sure I don't have this thing. So I don't know. I'm not going to use the G word and say it was a glitch.
Yeah.
But like, that should not have happened,
Hey, there's stuff that happens online that we don't know how
that
it
we
happened.
cannot explain.
Yeah. So
No, it's true. But I do feel like that, like, I don't know. And I have no idea how long that listing was
Right.
live.
right.
I had searched my whole inventory on eBay, like by keywords and by category and by every way I could think of, and I deleted all of it. So, and delisted all of it. So however that magically happened, if
Right.
I had done an inventory check in the last 6 months, I probably would have seen that listing and been like,
Yeah.
literally all of these were removed months ago. This should not be here.
Right.
So
I mean,
instead, I
that's
had to cancel a sale.
that's a good call out. For example, like what you have the least of. I guess that's
Yes.
the easiest way to tackle things,
Yeah.
right? Like, for example, like we don't have a lot of hats, right? So I just put type hats. It's so easy. I have a hat section. It's all there.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that you could do as kind of like a start, kind of like a warm up, on the least amount
Get
of
some momentum.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, and for me, like what fuels us if we find stuff that's not listed. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
it's
bad
like-
thing,
Then you
but
get
also
inventory.
right.
list.
I'm looking at it like, oh golly, like it feels like I sourced today and I listed 10 items that
Right.
that wasn't available, and and the crazy part is the algorithm rewards you because you're listing, and all of a sudden that item that you sold last night that was sitting in the
Yeah.
in the rack that was quote unquote hidden would have never been possible until you did that. I just sold one today. I sold a shoe for $85. That was literally, I know it was a multi-listing quantity that we just didn't get to. We found 2 of the same exact ones, and I sold one today for $85. So I was like,
That's awesome.
so
So that was worth it. That makes it worth your time.
it's always
to
gonna
put
be
in.
worth it, right? Like, and again, if you think there's certain price bracket that's not worth it, start with the most expensive ones.
Right.
Right, because I cannot afford to not have the most expensive items not listed.
Yeah, come on.
So I think that's
Yeah.
that's part of it. And also, like, I think while you're going through it, right, you get to see your quality of listing. I think in quality, when I say quality of listing, that goes with your title, your photo, and price.
Right.
One of the main reasons why we change backdrops every year is because that's kind of like how our indicator is like, oh, that's not this year's backdrop. That was last
Yeah.
year's backdrop. That was 2 years ago backdrop. And
Right.
it's funny because, like our cell phones get better every year. So the quality gets
Yeah.
better. So I'm
You're
looking at
it's
like, wow.
inherently going to get a little better. Yeah.
Right. So that's part of it too. So there's sometimes that we just sell similar or add quantity of like the same item that we have currently, but what JC has been very adamant about doing is she wants to take a new photo of it because her thing is that's the old background.
Right.
And part of the old background is a tail sign of we haven't updated the price, we haven't updated the title. So this is its second chance, right? Whether it was
Right.
my fault for losing it or it falling off and didn't sell, because
Right.
obviously it was, I'd like to assume that it was listed at some point, right?
Right. And if it's going to be worth a second chance, then
Yep.
give it its best shot.
Yep,
Right.
give it its
give
best
it the
shot,
best chance
100%.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
love how you guys have so many like things built into your system already. Like the background is a good example. You can know
Right.
at a glance,
Yeah.
oh, it's been this long since we listed that, which means we probably haven't updated this, we probably haven't updated that. Like this
Right.
this would be a good listing to review and refresh.
So yeah, I think like you said, like refreshing things, I think gives you a different idea. Whether we have a sort feature, list oldest listed item, you could start there, and I think this will be the kind of like the remedy of the summer slowdown that people are
Yeah.
afraid of.
So is that something you do after you account for every item, or is that something you do along the way as far as updating listings?
That's after. It's usually
Okay.
after only because like JC, like we pull stuff, like we're batch listing all this stuff, and that's when you see the new listings, right? Because new photo, you could tell, it's either an item that you recognize that you've had before. It's like all of a sudden it's in the new listing, and then that's when we polish the pricing. So what I
Right,
usually
and you
do
wouldn't
is-
want to be going to that trouble for an item that's not in your inventory, right? Like,
Yeah.
you have already made sure at that point that that item
Yeah.
is still available and
right.
accounted for it before you're spending more of your time on the listing.
Right. So that's kind of like what I usually do the most is I basically sit on my desk and go through the new listings that we have up. And at the same time, that's when products could be going up in value because, maybe at the point of purchase, there's a lot more people, there's a lot more competition. And that's why I kind of like it doing after Q4 because a lot of products have sold during Q4.
Yeah.
Perfect example, the shoe that I sold for $85 was going for $70 during Q4. I know it because we bought a lot.
Right.
And then now all of a sudden I just made $15 more on that product.
Yeah.
That people were selling for cheaper. So this is the time whether I, evaluate like, oh, if this product is still flooded post Q4, that means this product wasn't really a hot seller, right? And if it's still flooded, all of a sudden the value just, it's going to start to race to the bottom. People start lowering their price. They want to get out of this. So that's kind of like when you decide, like, that's when I usually switch. Okay, I want out of this item. I just mark it as cheap as I want. It's usually like 10 to 20. I still make $10 to $20 on profit on this
Yeah.
item. I remove best offer. I put shipping, and that's it. So that's when it's an item that doesn't have best offer. That means this is on its way out.
This is the bottom
Well,
dollar. So
yeah.
that's a good word to the wise for anyone who's watching your store and wants to buy shoes from you.
Yeah.
If there's no best offer,
If there's no best offer,
that's the best price you're going to get. buy it
or
now.
I'm gonna be really generous because I just want it out, right? That's when I send an offer through messaging, right? Because
So
people
go
start
like
messaging.
those items
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
wait
yeah.
for Ken's offer.
So,
That's
yeah,
what you should do.
exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
got it. That's funny.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
I like this inventory check thing because I think in a way it keeps us kind of honest. Like,
Yep.
let me explain what I mean. So I think as a thrifty, frugal side of things person, in terms of sourcing, it's like if you're the kind of person like me, who maybe unfortunately is willing to sell, a cute little lapel pin for $15, and you're willing
Right.
to do all this work for this little lapel pin to sell for $15, like, you can't be that kind of person and also say that it's like a waste of time to do this detailed work on all of your already listed inventory, right?
That's true.
Both of those things are in the same spirit of making the most of what you already have.
Right.
And so if you're, you got to be really honest with yourself, I think.
No,
if you're
I like that.
claiming to be a thrifty person, but you're not willing to do this kind of thing.
Right. No, that is actually I've never seen it that way for me. I've always wanted to pay more because I know if I paid more for this product, I'll never let it out of my sight. You
Yeah.
know, like there's a high value to it.
Right.
And I would like the crazy part, you could ask JC, anything over $100 in our store, I would know exactly where it's at.
Right.
Because
you literally value it more.
yeah, because I would not want to not find it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like having to cancel $100 sale, that like I hate that the most.
For sure.
So
But think about, I mean, what if that's five $20 items? Depending on what
Exactly.
kind of inventory you
No.
have in your store, like
Yeah.
it's untapped resources no matter
untapped.
what.
Yeah.
If stuff is falling through the cracks,
Yep.
and even if you're doing everything right and to the T, there
It's
will
so
be
low.
stuff that falls
Yeah.
through the cracks because you're
Yeah.
not the only crack in the system. Like,
Yeah,
there's
and
other
again,
stuff
like-
that happens.
yeah, we have to think that we don't have a dedicated person that does this every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's one of the things that as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, we don't do this every day. Like there's kind of like seasons, right? Like I'm on a listing mode, and all of a sudden, like what annoys me the most is like we run out of shipping supply. I'm like, golly, this shipping supply guy, like I get mad.
why
Like,
didn't you
oh,
order this
it's
stuff in
me,
time?
right? Like,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I get mad. I just order so much. And then when I ordered so much, I forget it for so long. Then I forget to reorder it. I was like,
Right.
this is what happened. Like, you should just do it quarterly. So I have that internal battle. It's like, you know how much you sell every 90 days? It's literally on your dashboard. So this is how many
You're looking at it
items.
all the time.
Right, you're looking
Yeah.
at it. This is how many items you list. So, you sell. This is how many boxes you have to go through. So order it, right? And and that's the reason why, like, we have to willingly dedicate certain tasks and wear that hat, no matter the whose fault it was. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, it's just really most of our fault. Like, unless
Right.
you have a giant organization,
Yeah.
or if you're running multi people operation and you're still having to run into this problem, somebody's getting fired.
Like, yeah, somebody is not doing their job all
Yeah,
the way.
yeah.
In our case, it's us.
Yeah, it's
But
us. So we can't get
We're the
fired. So
ones.
we just have to keep hiring
Right.
our new self. Hire your
Right.
new self, the new me, the more
It's
organized.
bring your
me.
best self to work day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well,
Again, go ahead.
How long do you think it's going to take you to do this in your store? Like, are we going to check back in about this? Are you going to tell us about the things you
100%.
discover?
This
Okay.
is the whole month. This is the whole month.
Okay.
I'm trying to find a way to not spend money, but try to maintain my store value.
And you're not willing to steal, so there's
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
also
yeah.
not
That's,
really doing consignment, so
Right.
there's that.
Oh, the other thing too, right? Like, and here's the thing, like spring cleaning happens and everything like that. You find something that you own that you don't want anymore. So we're selling all the stuff. JC already have 2 bins that she's selling that she's not wearing anymore. I haven't gone through mine, but I definitely know I have probably like 10 pairs of shoes that I don't wear anymore. It's just not my vibe anymore, so
Yeah.
you've moved on. So I already sold one because I listed five, I think, before I left from Berlin. It's just a shoe that just didn't fit right. Sold it for $70.
Perfect.
Funny thing is, I'm very, frugal at buying my own shoe, so I paid 50 for that. Sold it for 70,
Yeah, so
so I
you still
probably got
made a
my money
profit.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, made a little bit profit, got my money back, and it was just, so
Yeah.
so I think that's kind of like a combination of inventory check of our business, at the same time inventory check of just our personal stuff that we don't want.
Right.
Um, and
I think
again,
that's a great addition to this. If you get through all of that, you get through listing everything you have,
Yeah.
checking all of your inventory, relisting all the stuff that you found that wasn't listed, and
Right.
you still have more month left. I think it's a great idea to go through your own closet, to go through
Right.
your own belongings. I mean, I did the same thing pretty recently. I radically cleaned out my closet, and I got so many things for my store, but I'm telling you, I donated 2/3 of it. I didn't list all of it. And that's
Right.
another trap that I think some people fall into, and they get overwhelmed when they're cleaning out their own
Yeah.
stuff because they're like, well, I could sell this. These are free items. But I look at those items, and even as like more like on the thrifting side of things, I'm
Right,
like,
will
would
you
I
thrift
buy
this
this
item?
from the thrift store right
yeah,
now?
exactly, yeah.
And if I wouldn't buy it from the thrift store
Just
to
donate it.
resell specifically, I donate
Yeah.
it. Someone else can
that's a-
use it.
That's a good criteria. That would be me with our kitchenware. Like there's bowls, there's mugs,
Right.
there's glassware that we don't use. It's usually just stuck under the very back of the bottom of the cabinet that you wish you could use that space. So yeah, that's a good criteria. If it's something that you're not gonna buy from a thrift store or for yourself,
Yeah.
um, it's not worth listing it. You know, and again, for the stuff that's worth something, you're definitely gonna, like I know a lot of people. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna run a garage sale. You're definitely gonna get way more money online.
Yeah.
Way more money. Like the shoe that I sold, it wasn't special, but it was just worn once. It retailed for 110. I paid 50 at the outlet. If somebody saw that at the garage sale, they probably offer me 20 max.
Right.
You know,
And a lot of people also do like buy, sell, trade. That's maybe a good
Yeah.
in between for some stuff too.
yeah. So you could take some stuff to play this closet and all those stuff, and they'll pay you out cash. So I think March is off to a great start, and I
So
think
it
it's
is
a pretty
kind
good
of spring
challenge.
cleaning.
Yeah, it's a pretty good challenge. Anything else you could add onto it?
I mean, for me personally, I think this is a great challenge. I've also got some stuff that I want to physically get situated at the shop because I still don't currently have like a photography station or a shipping station out there. And I was kind of waiting for my first 6 months to get over with to make sure I wanted to keep having that space, and I do. So now is the time to like finalize it and really make it my own and make it more functional beyond just like storage unit, which right now that's how it's functioning and it's great. But I would love to be able to, photograph and process new items out there. At least have the option to do it. So that's also on my list for March, but it's going to have to fit in with this as well.
Right. So I think pretty good challenge for everybody. I think it's doable, and I think it'll set up for a pretty good Q2. Q1's about to end, so make sure you follow us on Instagram, Seller Club. We'll post some update on their Seller Club podcast, and you can follow us in our socials as well. Huge shout out to Seller Ledger. Tax season's coming right up, so make sure you follow them
Fast.
at Seller Ledger on Instagram, and try them
Get
out.
your books
Try 'em
right.
out. Get your books right.
Now's the
So,
time.
yep. And we will see you on the next episode. Peace.
Bye.
All right now. Oh, all right now. We're back from the trip. Time to tighten it up. Wait a minute. Huh. All right now. We had the miles, we had the lights. Now it's back to Ben's and late night rights. No new spin, just sharpen the blade. Find that value we already made. Same day drop, fresh off the press. New month, new focus, less is best. Sweep the floor, stack it clean. Build Q2 from what we've seen. Ain't never more, it's about right. Polish the process, turn up the light. Every corner, every rack, hidden wins when you run it back. Oh, March reset, feel that groove. We growing stronger with every move. No excuses, no delay. We build it better, starting today. Sell a club, that's the flow. Level up without spending more. Clean it up, tighten the stack. That's how real ones bounce back. Old listings, new backdrop shine, refresh the price, reclaim what's mine. Lost pairs found, that profit jump feels like sousing from your own trunk. Small steps daily, bins by bins. 30 days and the reset wins. Not flashy hype, just steady grind. Freedom built by a sharper mind. March reset, feel that groove. We don't wait, we make the move. From Berlin back to the racks. Stronger systems, no looking back. Sell a club, that's the sound. We turn slow seasons around. Clean slate, fresh start glow. You two ready, now let's go. Woo! All right, check your bins, check your books. Woo! See you next week. Whoa! Sell a club.